The reason and the way I was able to make $1,700 was because the ATR is the most important indicator that you could have on your chart. The candle that I've highlighted made me $1,700 in 15 seconds. Here's the kicker. I lost $500 before that trade. My net profit was $1,200 and change. I have a live stream where you can go check that out. But here's the thing. The reason that I was able to lose so much quickly and then on the same candle make so much quickly as my analysis was decent, my risk was too high. I actually went into the trade with too many contracts and it cost me dearly. Let's walk through how to use the ATR, especially if you're a day trader, so that you can improve your trading, be safer in your trading, and understand what to expect every time you enter a trade. What you're going to do is add the ATR to your chart, the average true range. Go to indicators, click on it, and add it to your chart. I already have it on there. Once you get there, go to the length and change it from 14 down to 7. So we're going to change the measurements. So instead of measuring 14 candles, we're going to cut it in half and just measure 7. We can leave the smoothing as it is. Now, what the ATR actually does is it just gives you an average indication as the indicator of how much movement you're to expect per interval. I'm on an NQ 1-minute chart. So the ATR is going to give me a reading that at the time of this trade, there's about 32 points of movement per 1 minute on this chart based on the previous 7 candles, so we can expect. That's a lot. Typically the ATR is at 12 on a good day, 10, 8, 6 when it gets pretty slow during the day. So 32 is an insane number, all right? Now, one of the reasons that I lost $500 on this trade was because I didn't realize how many points 32 was in relation to what I was actually trying to trade. Essentially, the larger your account, the less drawdown you can have. The smaller your account, the more drawdown actually matters. And so what I didn't want to do is be down a few $1,000s in my account because I'd blow up my account, I'd lose that eval, and if it was a PA account, it would be gone for sure. So I had to get out of my trade. I actually had to exit this trade pretty much at the bottom of this candle here, but I still love the move because of my strategy and the way I was seeing things. And it ended up going from basically down here all the way up. The reason and the way I was able to make $1,700 was because this thing moved damn near 30 points within 60 seconds. It moved so fast, I was down 500, had to exit, left the position, got back in on the same candle, and we ended up winning that trade, okay? So high quality stuff here. What I'm trying to show you though, and what I'm trying to get to you is, if the ATR were sitting at 8 or sitting at 10, my trade, my drawdown would have been far less. Matter of fact, it wouldn't even have been existent. It would have been a big deal. I'd be down $200, let it go, and I keep going. But because it was so high, I ran the risk of basically blowing up my entire account by using 3 contracts, not even the full 5 or 10, 3. And I was down $600 in a blink of an eye. And then it reversed. Now you can go to my YouTube channel, you can watch the live and see it in real time. But the point is that when you have the ATR on your chart, it can tell you a lot of really good things. Number one is, well, what the average movement is. Number two is when the market typically is trading at a higher volume and a lower volume. Let's look at the ATR. Here it's down at 8, which is pretty typical, at just shy of the open. At the open, it runs all the way up and we peak out, I think, at 40, which means that every minute the NASDAQ was moving, NASDAQ futures were moving 40 points per interval, up and down, okay, including wicks. Now it trails off a bit, which is pretty typical, but generally when it tails off, we're sitting even at, this is at the bottom here at 11 o'clock at 13. That's insane. It's really high still. Here's back to 20. Typically, I'll skip ahead here. The ATR is trading at about 5 or 6 during like the mid to late morning into the afternoon. And maybe it picks up, maybe it doesn't. Now, at a time like this, you can leverage and add way more to your position because there isn't a ton of movement that's going to happen. And so to get the $300, $400, $500, $1,000 moves that you guys are actually searching for when you're trading, you're gonna need to risk a little bit more. In fact, on this trade, specifically the one that I took and lost and then won, I should have been using 1 contract. That would have solved all my problems and I wouldn't have lost as much as I did. I still would have made a healthy chunk of money without having to take 2 trades. So the ATR would have really saved me had I paid a little bit more closer attention to just how high price was. Essentially, I needed a no drawdown trade, which is pretty rare that you get the bottom tick, in order for this thing to stay profitable the entire time. So I ended up making $1,700 on 1 trade, but I forfeited $500 because I got into the trade way too soon on this candle, and I didn't realize that I had too many contracts on, and it almost cost me dearly. So when you're day trading, use the ATR. It's an invaluable tool because when it's high, I want to trade. When it's low, I don't want to be in anything at all because that's to risk too much to make too little, and it's just not worth it for me. So when the ATR drops off, that's when my trading stops. When the ATR is high, that's when I want to be trading. Use the ATR, make sure it's your friend, get used to it, get comfortable with it, because it can make you a ton of money. And as you saw me do today, lose a ton of money. I'll see you in the next one.